Yo, what's up? This your boy EC22 of the FairWeather Fan channel, man. Listen, once again, we are in for another live edition of the FairWeather Fan podcast. And once again, we got your favorite Philly fan in the house. What's going on, Max?
5-0.
5-0. That's how you started out. Hey, y'all, I know some are asking why I'm repping the Denver Broncos. Actually, as you can tell right now, I'm not in the studio. I am actually in the Mile High City as we speak right now, Denver, Colorado. I'm here. Went to the game Sunday, man. It was actually a pretty awesome experience, even though we watched them boys get beat down. But I want to throw something out there. The reason why Denver is one of the places I always wanted to go to. I always wanted to come to the Mile High City, man. Is because, hold on, let's see. I got my boy Mark Sterling is watching. Thanks, Mark, for tuning in. But the reason why, here is the birth of this is called the birth of the FairWeather Fan. I'm going to tell y'all something. Going all the way back to when I first started watching football, okay? I grew up as a Dallas Cowboy fan. My family was in our household, right? And so that's all we knew. If I was watching football, it was the Dallas Cowboys. That's how I grew up. But as I got a little older, I kind of fell away from football because the Cowboys obviously started losing. The 90s was over with, and so I kind of pulled away. But we're going into I think it was Super Bowl 41, Bears and the Colts. You know, I watched the Super Bowl obviously because of history between two black coaches with Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy. So I watched that Super Bowl. But prior to that, I never watched anything of football or even paid attention to any of these Super Bowls except for that one once the Cowboys got out. Moving up further, it got to the point to where it was the Ravens versus the 49ers. Yeah, with the two brothers, you know what I'm saying? John and Jim Harbaugh. I actually watched that one. Of course, I watched Ray Lewis play his final game on the Super Bowl. So that was pretty a history to make it for me as well to watch that game. But other than that, the year after that, now this is crazy. The year after that, Baltimore just won the championship. The year after that, Thursday Night Football, they started the season, and it was the Denver Broncos, you're right, and the Baltimore Ravens. And just out of curiosity, I wanted to watch the game. Why? Because Peyton Manning was my fantasy football. He was on my fantasy football squad. So I watched that game, and from there, watching Peyton Manning throw for 7 touchdowns, which haven't been done since I think the 60s at that time, 1969, throwing 7 touchdowns in a game. It was history in the making, so I became the FairWeather Fan at that time. You know, it was the Denver Broncos following Peyton Manning for the next couple of years. They went to the Super Bowl that year, lost to the Seattle Seahawks, got back the next year. 2 years after that, it won against the Carolina Panthers. It then became the Green Bay Packers, then it became the Philadelphia Eagles. Then after a while, people started tagging me with being a FairWeather Fan. So there you have it. That's my rundown, the history of the FairWeather Fan. It all started with Peyton Manning in Denver. So this was a place I always wanted to come to, and I'm here now. Anyway, getting in and out the way. Max, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it. If no one else will say it, I'm going to say it this way. We're going to eventually get into the NFL. But what do you think about just the overall feel of these games this past week?
Oh, man. They were really competitive, surprisingly.
Competitive as far as you had a lot of close scoring games, but man, there was not a lot of energy out there. It was, I don't know if it was just defense or just, it seemed like couldn't nobody get it going. And which made this podcast a whole lot harder for me to try to develop a show around.
Especially last night's game.
Oh God. Oh man, that was brutal. You know, that was brutal. So let's do it this way. I'm gonna go into college real quick. Since I've been in Denver, I haven't had a chance to go into the high school games, so I know I like to go, so I don't have any high school updates for you guys right now. But I'm going to go into college, and what else could I talk about is the Big 12, Texas versus OU. That was this past weekend on Saturday. It was actually the best competitive game out of all the sports in my opinion, other than if you watch the Arizona and USC game, which that was a pretty close one there. But other than that, man, this game was pretty exciting to watch. Obviously, Big 12 fan, OU edge Texas 30-40-30. Man, that was pretty cool for college football, and that's just what that is. The NFL. Before we get into, let's go into this way. Best QB performance.
Jalen Hurts.
You got Jalen Hurts. And I know you don't even believe that. I know you don't believe that. So I got Sam Howell, Justin Fields, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, and Josh Allen. The reason being Sam Howell had 388 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. Brock Purdy had 252 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jared Goff had 236 with 3 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, so that's 4 total. Josh Allen had 359 passing touchdowns. He also had a rushing touchdown, but he also had INT and also some costly turnovers in that game, and just didn't play well until the second half. But he had 2 receivers that were over 100 yards with Diggs and Davis. So Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. So out of those 4, I mean, if you want to add Jalen Hurts, if you like your mind is picked that Jalen Hurts should be on that list, I don't know what he did as far as these numbers was concerned.
I don't know why Josh Allen is there when he lost that game.
Yeah, we'll just talk about individual performance. Yeah, that's the reason why he didn't win. He didn't win the vote, though. It really came down to. When you look at Sam Howell, right? They lost their game on Thursday night, but he played an excellent game, right? You know what I'm saying? 388 yards. I think that was the highest out of all the QBs the whole week for 388 yards. The 2 touchdowns, but we also saw the turnover. And, of course, it was a beatdown between the Bears and the Commanders. Brock Purdy, he made the cut, only 252 yards, but the 4 touchdowns. But he had a ton of weapons. He couldn't do it by himself. But I really gave this to none other than – I had to give it to Jared Goff. I mean, it was just an excellent performance by him. They did their thing, man. That team is looking good, and we're going to talk about them later on. I mean, he just did his thing. Best, and you normally I do like top performers, worst performers, but like I say, it was just kind of hard to really figure this thing out because it was just such a big gap. So that was a top QB performance, top wide receiver performance. This one is, there's one guy that's standing head and shoulders above all. So you look at the DJ Moore, Tyreek Hill, and Jamar Chase, and I think by hearing that name, you already know which one I'm talking about. None other than DJ Moore. He stood head and toes above everybody, man. The dude had, what he have? 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. And someone would say, well, why didn't I not put Justin Fields in that category as far as a top performer? Actually, he wasn't. He was number 2 on that list as far as the top performer, but he didn't make the cut, even though they had a big win against the Commanders. But DJ Moore, I almost didn't give it to him because of what Jamar Chase did. Almost didn't give it to him.
It should have been Jamar Chase.
It should have been Jamar Chase because that was actually a close game. It should have been Jamar Chase. But, these are things we expect from those guys. I just wanted to give it to DJ Moore.
Triple coverage, though.
Yeah. You know what? You're right.
He's always open.
He's always open. And
it took them around 5. It took them 5 weeks to figure that out.
So there you have it, Jamar Chase. See, that's what the FairWeather Fan Channel is all about. We can flip this thing up anyway. I will give the Jamar Chase. If you want to know what he did, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, in a good game that they had against who were they playing with? The Cardinals?
Yes, sir. Arizona.
Yeah. It was Arizona, yeah. And I can tell you, man, Arizona looks pretty good without Kyler right now. So I ain't mad at that. Best running back performance.
Miami. Miami had the best running back up there.
Yeah, Travis Etienne, Breece Hall, Zach Moss, Devon Achane. Travis Etienne had 136 yards with 2 touchdowns. Brees Hall, I was at that game. I watched what he did against against these Broncos, man. 177 yards and 1 touchdown. That one big, long 70-yard touchdown run he had is the only one he scored. But Zach Moss, man, for the Indianapolis Colts, man, 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Devon Achane, 151 and 1 touchdown. I had to get that to Zach Moss, man. He actually had, that was actually game. You know, I know it was a kind of a weird game with what, and that's the reason why I gave it to him, because the quarterback went out. You know what I'm saying? We wish their quarterback, Anthony Richardson, wishing him to get well soon. But then again, you know, they're playing against Tennessee. That actually, to me, even though it was a kind of low scoring game, to me that was actually a pretty big, pretty exciting game to watch. You know, just from a football standpoint, and that's not saying a lot. Now, I will say this. You hear that, Max?
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back to Cooper Kupp. Welcome back to football, Cooper. Cooper got on the field and he do what Cooper Kupp does, man. The dude went out there and did his thing, man. This Cooper Kupp is amazing. And also, welcome back. Thank you, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. They has been struggling. They finally got it together. Like you said, it took them 5 weeks to figure it out. But welcome back to football to Cooper Kupp as well as Joe Burrow and Joe. Cooper has been out recovering, so that's a true welcome back for Cooper Kupp. But Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase has been playing, but they has not been where they normally at. So now going into
the real Dak Prescott.
God, dog, y'all heard that? Welcome back to the real Dak Prescott with that terrible performance. I mean, oh my God, yeah. If I had to do a bad performance on her, which I didn't, but Dak would definitely fill that hole with 153 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions thrown. That was bad. Mac Jones came in. Obviously, they put up a 0 point in that game, and he came out with 119 yards with 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, the 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Yeah, Dak take that prize home, hands down. Russell Wilson had a pretty bad game. Obviously, I was there and I watched it. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. But then I saw a whole lot with the Broncos, and a lot of it is not Russell Wilson's fault. Being there and watching it and trying my best to be as open-minded as possible. Now, the receivers wasn't running any great routes that I could see to where they was really getting open. The O-line kept folding. Russ kept scrambling. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, but overall, it's not all on Russ. Now, if they want to blame the chemistry between him and the receivers, I get it. The fact that they don't have a true running game, I get it. But I mean, it's a loss by committee. They got to figure some things out.
And a
Mac,
bonus.
Yeah.
I got the Giants O-line up there too.
You know, we talked about them last week. We talked about the Giants. We talked about the New England Patriots. And we have to give credit where credit is due. And the credit to their sucky performers has to go to none other than the coaching staff and head by Brian Daboll of the Giants. And once again, Bill Belichick of the New England Patriots. We're not going to put those players in that situation. Because y'all chose to stack with the Jones brothers, with Daniel Jones and Mac Jones. They're not brothers in real life, y'all, but, you know, they playing like they're brothers, playing the exact same way. So they got to do something, man. If any organization that are in a tank mode that needs something out of next year's draft, the quarterback shuffle, he's definitely going to have to come down to those two teams. But we'll get to that in a minute. Mac, take it away. What you got for us today?
I got a lot on baseball today.
Yeah. For the NFL, you said that now the Minnesota Vikings lost their number 1 receiver, Justin Jefferson. They put him on IR. So the question is, will the Vikings tank this season? What do you think?
They should. They need to find a trade partner for Kirk Cousins.
So that's a good question. Should they tank and try to get a quarterback out of the draft next year? Or should they try to? But here's the crazy thing about it. It is Brian Flores is a defensive coordinator. Now, I know he's not the head coach, so he really don't have a whole lot of say in it, but the fact that is the reason why he's not in Miami, because they asked him as a coach to tank to try to get Joe Burrow as reports come out, and he chose not to tank. He chose to stick with his team that he got, and ultimately got him out of there after 4 years, and now he's playing in Minnesota as a Minnesota defensive coordinator. That'll be kind of crazy to watch him relive that whole situation all over again, but this time really don't have any leverage. He's going to have to sit around and watch his team tank, because right now that is the best option for Minnesota. I actually got a chance to talk to Chad. Me and Chad had a long conversation at work. Chad is a diehard Minnesota fan. He's from there, and he was saying the exact same thing. They should tank. They should tank. And it was prior to this game. They should tank. So I'm definitely with that. The Cowboys losing Sunday. Will the Eagles run away with the division?
Yes.
If anybody watched my earlier podcast, earlier before the season started, I had the wins and loss prediction of the Dallas Cowboys. I actually had the Dallas Cowboys going 11-6, and I actually said that the Philadelphia Eagles will sweep the NFC. So there you have it. So yes, they would definitely run away with the division on that. What are the top 3 teams? Who do you have? This one is the easy one right here for me.
In any particular order, or does it have to be 1 through 3?
In any particular order? I don't know. 1 through 3. 1 2 3. Yeah.
Number 1, Eagles. 49ers, number 2. And I got Dolphins at 3.
Wow. So we have some of this. Well, my list is 49ers number 1. Because I wanted to put Eagles on there, and if you would have asked me at week 1, I would put the Eagles. But we talked about this, and I'm just like, the Eagles just haven't really been playing. Their defense haven't been playing. The offense haven't been playing the way we know they should. But the 49ers got number 1 because they've been clicking on all cylinders. And then obviously the Eagles. And then instead of Miami, I got none other than Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions at number 3. I think they are playing some good ball. They're going to win their division. I don't think Miami's going to win their division. That's the only reason why I scarcely put them up there. There's still a lot of football left. And, you know, you saw what Josh Allen did with him on their first rodeo, so it can happen again. So who is the front runner for the league MVP so far?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. So far, I would probably have to give it to Tua.
12 top of low. Is it now? Yeah, I got Devon A-Chain at this particular point. He's a rookie, right?
Yeah.
So he'll definitely get Rookie of the Year if he keep playing the way he's playing right now. But yeah, I mean, somebody from my own organization has got to be somewhere in the discussion. You can't go away with that many. I mean, they're just balling out of control right now. I mean, even when you're looking at their record, only losing 1 game, and you look at the two winless team, the 2 teams who haven't lost anything between 49ers and the Eagles, neither one of them have guys that are putting up those numbers, obviously, because they're winning by committee. But, I mean, Tua is throwing like crazy. I mean, even when he throw interceptions, they still seem to win those games. The only game they had bad was the shootout in get the Buffalo Bills. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I'm with you on that. But Devon A-Chain definitely is the MVP for the rookies. Tyreek Hill can be added in that category as well. You know what I'm saying? If you go to Tua, you got to throw Tyreek. I mean, they've been playing. I mean, that's been impressive to watch. Now, I want to say this real quick, and I want to look into this thing, and I want to make this very, very clear here as the FairWeather Fan podcast. And I know Max will probably disagree, but that's okay. Listen, y'all out there, listen. Yes, Dak Prescott had a bad game. Yes, Dak Prescott is not what everybody thought he is. But let me say this, y'all. I've been saying this for longest about Dak Prescott. One of my fellow podcast mates went on his Facebook and he gave a good analysis of Dak Prescott about how he think he's reached his potential. We're not going to get anything further from Dak Prescott. This is all we're going to get from him. And of course, has been something that's been similar, echoed out through all the sports world as far as Dak. But let me tell y'all something, man. He ain't the only one. He is not the only one. We're not gonna sit around here and act like Lamar Jackson have been playing lights out. We're not gonna sit here and act like Josh Allen has been playing lights out. We're not gonna sit here and act like that we didn't see Joe Burrow come up missing for the last 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna act like that Justin Herbert has been having some excellent games out there. You know what I'm saying? Even though he had a bye week, y'all, let's not act like he's the only one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he's
not,
the only one doing it in prime time.
You gonna throw the primetime situation up there?
He's doing it in prime time.
That's Jerry Jones' fault for being the owner of the American teams. Always get the Cowboys in those primetime spots. But at the end of the day, it don't matter what time the cameras come on. A player's gonna play to his strengths. He's gonna play to his weaknesses. He's gonna play the way he normally play. It's just that's just what that is. And unfortunately, Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, who always get those primetime spots, and the whole world be watching at that time. You know what I'm saying? But then you look at Monday night's game, primetime spot. I mean, you got Jimmy Garoppolo going against Jordan Love. I mean, how they get that game, I don't know that spot, but it is what it is. But no, y'all, there has been some bad football on what we predicted as far as our top 10 quarterbacks, and there's a lot of blame to go around. Dak Prescott is who he is. He plays the way he plays. And what you get is what you're going to get. And this is where it comes down to the coaching staff to make the best out of their players. Some suggest that Dak should get cut or get released, and they should move Trey Lance up. Y'all, let's not be stupid here. Trey Lance has played 2 games in the NFL before his season-ending injury last year. He did not go through the Dallas Cowboys training camp. It makes absolutely no sense. He lost his QB position, whether it's going to be the 2 or the 3 at the 49ers in San Francisco. So it just makes no sense to suggest that him being in the QB3 spot will come over and take over for the Cowboys. It just makes absolutely no sense. The Cowboys is built around Dak's style of play, and they need to figure it out. And if this is a season they can't figure it out, maybe next year you go through a training camp. But, I mean, people are talking about cutting Dak now. Like, go ahead and get Trey Lance on the field right now. Trey Lance should not touch the field this season at all for the Dallas Cowboys. If he touched the field, it should be a situation where the Cowboys trade him or somebody else come look for him or trade for him or whatever. But he shouldn't touch the Cowboys unless Dak get hurt and Cooper Kupp get hurt and then he comes up that way. I don't know. What do you think on that?
Unless it's the last season and y'all already have a playoff spots locked up, then play him. But I wouldn't play him at all this season at all.
Yeah. I'm up in here in Denver. It's so funny because, being up here in Denver, obviously I'm getting Denver news, and they're saying the exact same thing about Russell Wilson. So when the emotions are involved, and I'm pretty sure Buffalo is saying the exact same thing about Josh Allen, and I'm pretty sure Baltimore is saying the exact same thing about Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, around, but when it comes down to the national shows, like the First Takes, they only want to single out Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hear them do a whole lot of talking about Russell Wilson on these morning shows and stuff since then. If they did, it was a little bit and they jump off, but everybody was all on the Dak Prescott, blah, blah, blah. I just want to throw it out there. Y'all pump the brakes. But y'all, that's all we have for the NFL. Like I say, it was good football, but not a whole lot to cover. Let's go on to the MLB. Max, what you got?
They released the rankings for the current playoff teams remaining. They have the Texas Rangers as number 1 and Philadelphia
Really?
Phillies number 2 ranked so far to make it to the World Series.
Wow.
And I looked at the Vegas odds. They have Rangers as the best one out there too. They have Rangers winning it all too.
Hey, early on, one of my earlier podcasts, I talked about the Rangers. I was like, are the Rangers the real deal? Are the Rangers the team that we expect them to be? And listen, they showed lights. They showed a lot of good stuff during the season. They kind of had their struggles towards the middle of the season, got together at the end of the season, and coming in and sweeping the Tampa Bay Rays. Now they're 2 up over Baltimore, playing tomorrow. I mean, they're looking
tonight.
Oh, they're playing. Oh, sorry, they're playing tonight at 6 o'clock. They should be starting right now.
They're playing at 7.
Oh, at
30
7.
minutes, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going on
And
Denver time.
and it's a home game for us.
Yeah, it's a home game. Yeah. See, I'm on Denver time. I'm on Denver time. It's 5:30 up here. So, but yeah,
And it's our first playoff game this whole time, so
you said the first playoff game.
yeah, here in Texas. Because
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We
That's
didn't
right.
play we played in Tampa and then we played in Baltimore, so this is the first actual playoff game we get here.
Yeah, you're right there. Home in Texas finally. Well, we'll see. I hope they go ahead and close it on out, man, and push it on. Who do you got out of Minnesota and Houston Astros series? Houston just won 9-1. That was a beat down on that one. You still got Houston coming out of that?
I still got Houston coming out of that.
And what about the Arizona and Dodgers game? I mean, this is bad. That's bad. Dodgers gonna do this 2 years in a row? I'm not understanding. LA. What y'all doing? Dodgers, the second year in a row? What?
They're trying to say that they're rusty because they took some time out between the wild card round and this round.
Man, bull crap. Y'all got this is baseball. This is baseball. I mean, when you're out there playing a game, there's not a whole lot of action as it is. And that's the reason why you guys have a long, long season. So the thing about resting and stuff, no, Dodgers, y'all tripping. I mean, this team had to fight to get into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? No.
It doesn't help when you pitch the first game and first inning you have to change out your starter.
Right, exactly. You know what? You would think that the Dodgers can come away with 3 straight wins, and that's what it's going to take. And if anybody can do it, it's the Dodgers. If anybody can do it, the Dodgers can. But will they? That's the problem. Because you just gave. I mean, it's the same way with the Baltimore Orioles. You know, your first 2 games you give up at home. Dodgers give up their first 2 games at home. You know, it just makes it that much harder. So I don't know. The Dodgers play tomorrow. Like I say, the Rangers play tonight. Obviously, I don't need to ask this question, but obviously you're going with the Phillies against the Braves. So you're still sticking with that?
Yes, I am.
Because you didn't have the Phillies. The last time we talked, you did not have the Phillies going all the way. Something changed between now and the last time we talked.
Yeah, us beating them in the first game.
But you had them getting out of that series anyway, right?
Yeah, I did.
So this series, you had them losing. But what's changed now? Y'all tied.
Like I said, we won the game over there. Game
Okay.
1, and we shut them out. And yesterday we were close to winning that game last night.
Yeah. So this baseball season, I was actually talking to being in Denver, I actually ran into a Phillies fan at Lids.
Nice.
And he had all the Phillies gear, man, and we sat there, and of course, I was on the move, but I sat there and talked to him for about 10, 15 minutes or so, man, and yeah, I see, he reminded me of you. I mean, this dude had on all Phillies gear, man. He straight up just the Philadelphia Phillies gear. It was head to toe, and I was like, man, we don't see this often. This guys, I didn't know those fans existed. I thought they was more like, like searching for Bigfoot or something, looking for Philadelphia Phillies fans. But no, it was cool. But it was everything that you're saying. He's been mirroring. He was mirroring the same stuff, saying the same things. But unlike you. He says that he don't see you guys making it to the World Series. And he says he has to be realistic. He said, would he love it? Yes. He just still thinks that that you guys are a year out for making it. Actually, this is what he said, and it was also cool. He said that, but he said the fact that last year y'all made it to the World Series, he said the fact that we made it to the World Series last year, he said, you know what, I am good. He said, I'm good. He said, I'm not giving up on my team. I love my team. He said, I've always been a Phillies fan, but he said the way we started out last season and making it to the World Series, he said he's good. He's happy. He's happy on top of happy. And now with barely making it to the playoffs and then getting in and then coming to this series, he said he's happy. There's nothing the Philadelphia Phillies can do that would disappoint him for this season. So.
Exactly. It's a win-win for us.
Right, right, right.
We're just happy, man.
Now, can I say that about the Rangers? Absolutely. Now we didn't do anything last year. We stunk up the city last year. It was brown bag bad. You know what I'm saying? Last year, but now this year, for us to one win in the regular season to having that number 2 spot overall, and now into winning 4 straight games into the playoffs, I just, this is the Rangers that we saw at the beginning of the season. I just hope they maintain this energy throughout the playoffs. I just hope they don't get into that situation where that midseason woe to where they just started just forgetting who they are and start doing some dumb stuff. Even though they had a big lead on the last game, it still was, if they had a few more innings left, Baltimore could have easily came back and took that game. And that was the scary part about that, because the Rangers started doing some bull crap. I don't know what it was, but like I say, it ain't how you started, how you finished. They won it. They came out with a W. So scratch it and start over again.
They don't have the best bullpen, so
Yeah, and
that's the only thing.
That's been the most confusing thing to me at all. I mean, I know the hitters are hitting, and that's the reason why I got to give credit to the manager. How he's doing his lineups, man, when it comes down to the pool, how he's flipping things up, man. He is really, really, they got him working. That bullpen got him working and is trying his best to get what he needs on that. I mean, he is working his butt off, man. Every time I see him get that little funny walk off coming off the field, going to the pitcher's mound, I bet he like, not again. Let me go get this cat out. You know what I'm saying?
It's becoming iconic, man.
I know, right? There you go again. It was like, here I go again on my own. Yeah, but no, we usually have a snap-off performance of the week, and I don't have any videos to show you guys because nobody did anything. I almost wanted to put the game last night up on there. I almost decided to put the
Interception.
no. Who was that? I almost put the Rangers game on there, and who was somebody else I was going? Yeah, I almost put the Rangers game on there, and I was going to put the Rangers game on there, but then when what's name started coming back, I said, well, I can't put this on there. I started to put the Diamondbacks on there as well for their game on Saturday in that 11-2, but I was like, because it ain't in the NFL. It ain't in the NFL, but the snap-off performance has to go to the MLB, you know what I'm saying? Have to go, and it's just, maybe not to one team, but just the overall playoff has been very, very good to watch. Been close games, been blowouts. It's been like this flow. It's been giving the fans a whole lot to tune in for. So that's that. Max, you got any final words for the FairWeather? Let me see. Hold on. We got, one more thing. No, so let's go back to football. And we talked about this earlier, but we couldn't really figure it out. But let's go ahead and spend some time talking about this. With 3 weeks to go before the trade deadline, we're trying to figure out which teams should, what some of these teams should do as far as trying to beef up their roster. Should they trade away some players? Should they try to get some players now? Which team are in desperation mode as of right now with 3 weeks to go for the trade deadline in the NFL?
I think Buffalo needs to trade for a running back.
Ooh. Yeah.
I feel like that's the one thing that's always holding that back every season. They never have that running back that take them to the next level.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely obvious choice right there. They need a running back. But my question is, how will they use him? I don't know. I don't even know if Buffalo got it in their DNA to hand the ball off to a running back consistently. I'm not saying these guys are not professional, that they don't know the X's and O's of the football gridiron. But at the end of the day, it's like, human tendencies are just that. Josh Allen wants to run. That's just what that is. And, you constantly put him in a option read for most of the game. He's going to take off. He's not going to hand that ball off. Nobody to throw it. He will take off. That don't mean they don't have practices. That don't mean they can't add some stuff to the playbook during their weekly practices. But yeah, who would they give up for him? How would they trade for him? I would say trade some draft picks for him to get a running back to figure this thing out. Find some running backs that's been sitting on the bench who can't perform but just haven't given opportunity. Yeah, they definitely need it. But I'm looking at the overall standings right now. Speaking of the Buffalo Bills, obviously the Dallas Cowboys need to do something. But I don't know what, bro. I don't know what the Dallas Cowboys need to do. You still have
They need to get rid of their head coach. They're stuck in the same place that we're stuck in last year. As soon as they lose to a good team, they gotta look at themselves in the mirror and figure out what's going on with Dak. And they're always blaming Dak. The defense didn't perform that well either.
So should they do it in the middle of the season?
If they give up hope, yeah.
The Cowboys cannot take. You know what's so crazy? Because the Cowboys, all they got to do is win one game. If Dak come out there next week and throw for 350 plus yards, all of a sudden everybody forgets what happened this week.
Super Bowl, here we come.
Absolutely. It's gonna be that. It's like, that just the weirdness of watch. And it's not just Cowboy fans. Everybody keeps talking about, and I watch Stephen A. Smith talk all the time, the Cowboy fans are unrealistic. It's like, bro, and I know that I know he's marginalized by the network. The network want him to talk about the Cowboys. They want those viewers because they know the Cowboys fans are watching, so they got to really please their fan base. But at some point, it's like, what are your true feelings about the Cowboys? Because at some point, even if the organization told me to talk about this said team, at some point I would have to be like, you know what, listen, how long should I give them my attention? Because at the end of the day, it's like, you guys are talking about Dak Prescott and how bad he is when he's doing bad and how well he looks when he's doing well. And then, saying there's always this gray area. For me, being a FairWeather fan, there is no gray area with any team. It's either black or white, you know what I'm saying? Because any team can come out there and show you something good and show you something bad, in my opinion. But it's just like, at the end of the day, it's like who they are consistently.
It's their coaching staff, man.
Now, if my boy G was on this podcast, it would be a whole bunch of I told you so's. I told you so's. I told you so's. Because he suggests, we said last week, he suggests that the Cowboys wide receivers don't run good routes. Okay. But he definitely believed that Mike McCarthy should go. And I don't think anybody disagrees with that Mike McCarthy should go. But how much is Mike McCarthy eating it? Because he was the first one to come out and start talking about how basically, for lack of better words, Dak need to play better. And it's always this blame game when it comes down to losing because the microphone is in your face and everybody's going to ask all these questions. But other than the Buffalo Bills and Dallas Cowboys who need to do something serious, I'm looking at teams like obviously the Chicago Bears, the Minnesota Vikings, obviously to do something. I don't even know what New York Giants, New England Patriots need to just tank. Denver need to tank. Carolina haven't won a game yet with their new quarterback, but this is as expected. You don't expect these guys to win right away. C.J. Stroud has been playing better than all the rookie quarterbacks. Obviously,
he hasn't turned the ball over once.
Right, but that don't mean that Bryce Young haven't been playing. They just need a better team. They just need better players around them. But he's still been playing decent, as well as Anthony Richardson. Has been playing pretty well. It's just unfortunately he got injured, and we'll see what his shoulder look like this coming week. Atlanta, I mean, I like him. I like him.
I don't.
You don't like him? You don't like the quarterback?
I don't, nah. I just don't. What, Riddler?
Yeah.
I don't like him at all, man.
I mean, 329 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, I mean, he's doing the best he can with that squad over there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Bijan Robinson is actually doing his thing over there. So I mean, they look pretty good. I'm not mad at Atlanta. Does it equate to wins? I mean, they won 3 games, so I ain't mad at them. But overall, the big question is who is out there? Who wants to leave? Who wants to go? Is Jonathan Taylor still on the block after coming back? Is he still a trade piece for the Colts?
Who knows? He just got his contract.
Oh, dang, I forgot about that. Yeah, he did just get the contract. Somebody's saying something to come in Philly. Somebody said something a while ago. I just missed Lewis' comments. He was saying they can win with D. Ritter. He agrees with me about Desmond Ritter being over there. I'm definitely with Lewis on that. They definitely can win with that squad over there. What's up, Lewis, man, over at the Faith Talk radio, man. That's my boy. I'll be joining this podcast once I get off of this one here in a little bit. Lewis, are you actually doing one today? I know he normally does his at 7. That's why I started doing mine at 6. Lewis, just in case you're wondering, I moved mine up to 6 so I can be available for yours at 7. He said, he don't think that Jonathan Taylor is a trade piece. He'll be in Indianapolis. Oh, that is true. He said he'll be joining his in 15 minutes. He'll be doing his in 15 minutes. All right, Lou. So I like Desmond Ritter. Pittsburgh. What you think about him? I mean, bro, you talking about was it Kenny Pickens to Pickens? They got Pickens and Pickens, Pickens. Whatever.
I mean, it's great for the team, but it's still not gonna rack up wins.
Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room when it comes down to Pittsburgh Steelers. Once again, Mike Tomlin is in the hot seat.
It seems like he's in the hot seat every season, man.
Every season, and he always come out and what I'm hearing is that yes, he has not have a losing season. He haven't had a losing season, but mediocrity isn't the key to winning. This is Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? This is Steeler country. This is terrible times. Are we holding on to a coach? And I'm just going to be as honest as I can. Not honest, but being very transparent is what I've been hearing. Are we holding on to a coach because we're scared to cut him because he's black? Because the Rooney rules were started there in Pittsburgh. So are we holding on to him because he's black or what? Let's see what Louis have to say. Louis said Kenny Pickens still needs work, and I know how Tomlin is letting him play. Tomlin will be in PIT. Right, exactly. He's decided to leave, retire. Just notice how many coaches PIT has had in the last 40 years. Absolutely, And Lewis couldn't have said any better than that. I mean, that is the truth. He's always going to be in that situation. But I've heard it from a Steelers fan. And they weren't being racist. They were just being honest. They just like, man, listen, I can say this to you, Eric. Are we holding on to him because of the Rooney Rule? Because just because we haven't had a losing season, that don't mean we should hold on to a quarterback. Hold on to a head coach. I don't know. I like Mike Tomlin, but I'm with Lewis, man. He deserves to be still head coach until he decides to retire. It only makes sense at this point to just go ahead and retire. And I think if somebody ever came to him and say, hey, we're going ahead and let you go, he'll say, I'll resign. And that's how they'll play it in the media, Mike Tomlin. And it was a mutual agreement that he would resign and go do something else with his life after football. That would definitely be that. But they definitely need some more pieces with them. I don't think their running back game is what it needs to be.
This is kind of like the same situation Bill Belichick is in. Is the organization going to move on from him just because he has a losing season?
No, it's different for black coaches. You already know. We know Robert Kraft is the owner, but we know who's really running that team is Belichick. Belichick's got all. He does what he wants to do. Ain't nowhere in the world they move on from Belichick, and that's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is in the world of sports. You know what I'm saying? There's a thing called privilege, and I don't know who's watching this podcast, but we have to say it that way. There is things called privilege, and therefore Belichick will be there as long as he wants to, even if he don't win a game this season. You know what I'm saying? So, it's been so just unfortunate. The New York Jets, do they stay with Zach Wilson? Because at this, I'm going to say it. Chad Ochocinco said the best. He said he trusts Zach Wilson. He believes that that he spent enough time around Aaron Rodgers to where some of that mojo has rubbed off on him. We haven't really seen it in a consistent situation, consistent basis since he's been being a quarterback. But he don't look bad. He don't look great. He don't look just terrible. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the answer for the organization. I don't think he's the answer.
We don't know that. We don't know that because he hasn't even played.
I said that, not on the podcast, but I said that in a conversation. I said, I know Aaron Rodgers is going up there. The fact that he is Aaron Rodgers, he's going to bring some type of flair to the organization because he's Aaron Rodgers and he's a guy who can win. But at the end of the day, we're talking about an answer for a squad. You know, let's see what Lou has to say. Zach Wilson is still not where he needs to be, but he looks a lot better than he has since he was drafted. He definitely look a whole lot better. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the answer to the squad because of his age. You know, it's simple. I just think he's his age. He's not going to be able to keep up with the youth of the organization. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just my strong opinion about that. Because Robert Saleh wants to win now, it makes sense to get him. And how will that with Achilles hold up? Aaron Rodgers thinks he can play this year. He thinks he can come back in a few weeks and get. So, you know how Achilles are. I mean, if they keep him immobile, maybe so. The way it popped, I don't know. At his age, I don't know. But somebody got to get Caleb Williams. That's all I know. Somebody got to get him, and I don't know who's going to get him. Maybe Carolina, but they just got their Bryce Young. So I don't know. Who is it a good running for Caleb Williams right now? Who's the best fit for Caleb Williams? Who you think?
Can people afford him?
I think Minnesota should tank this season with the hopes of getting Caleb Williams. I just think, it just makes, but will they? Medford said, Professor said Arizona. So, Medford, have you given up on Kyler Murray?
Kyler who?
Yes, I still believe in Kyler Murray. I don't care what you say, man. I still believe in Kyler Murray. What you talking about, man? The way Arizona's been playing, I know, God, dog. Yes, he's going after the season. Kyler Murray would probably be, I still like Kyler Murray, man, but he's just a little bitty guy. He can't see over. He can't see. He has to run and get in spots, and that's just bad. That's bad news for offensive line. You got a quarterback who just can't sit still. I still like Kyler Murray. I still like Kyler Murray, man. I still like Kyler Murray. Maybe if you can use him like how the Saints tried to use Taysom Hill, maybe, but his pride ain't gonna let him play that way. But Max, we're not gonna prolong this thing any longer, man. I think we've kind of got some good content out there, man. As far as the FairWeather fan, y'all listen. Max, you got any final words before we close out?
Who you got on Thursday?
Oh, let's see. Kyler Murray is an NFL quarterback, but I think the Cardinals is done with Kyler. Absolutely. Somebody will probably pick up Kyler Murray who needs it. Thanks, Lou. Who I got on Thursday? Kansas City. Kansas City hands down. Because Russell Wilson don't know how to win games. He just don't. I don't know. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna spend the next 5 minutes talking about this subject, and I've been wanting to do an individual podcast on it, but I don't think I have the energy for it. Here's what I've been hearing about Russell Wilson, and I've been watching. They say Russell Wilson is standoffish from his teammates. The reports have it; it's neither been confirmed nor denied, but the reports have it that Russell Wilson has an office upstairs, away from the players, next to the coaches. They said when he came to Denver, he was greeted with the red carpet. All the perks was thrown at him. And it was reported that he'd been telling his players, my door is open to you. as though he's a GM or a coach or something like that. So if they want to express their grievances, they can appeal to Russell himself and set up a meeting type situations versus being in a locker room where folks are really wearing their heart on their sleeves and really, really, having to come to Jesus meetings.
He's their HR manager.
Exactly. Marshawn Lynch, if you haven't watched, he actually did a podcast on Club Shay Shay where he had talked in depth about his experience with Russell Wilson down in Seattle, and it was kind of mirroring some of the same situation where Pete Carroll was told a team that they do not address Russell Wilson directly. And, every team have what they call a players-only meetings where guys call each other out, hold each other accountable. That's what makes the great team. Nobody's above the team. Everybody got to do their job. But in Seattle, it was reported through Marshawn Lynch, who has no reason to lie, that Russell Wilson, they was told not to talk to Russell Wilson. If they want to talk to Russell Wilson, talk to Pete himself or talk to the quarterback coach, and then he would pass that message on. With all that being said, that do not create synergy in a locker room. And what you do in private is what's going to show up in public, And that's the reason why I don't think the receivers are trusting him enough to run decent routes, because he got some fast receivers out there between Sutton and Judy, but they don't trust him enough to see him. The synergy on the field is not there. At the game this Sunday, you can see it. You can see there's a lot more going on in the organization than it's just all Russ. It could be a trust issue.
Were there people wearing his jersey that game?
I saw a lot of 58s out there. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They haven't let Von Miller go. I'm sorry, there was a lot of 58s out there. But yes, there was a few people wearing some Russ jerseys out there, right? But in Russ's defense, Russ has told everybody since coming to the league is faith, family, and football in that order. Some reports saying that his image is more important to him than winning. Russell Wilson, there's no surprise that Russell Wilson is a Christian. He's a man of God, and that's the way he wants to keep it. So when it comes down to being standoffish in the locker room, I can understand that he may not. He said Marshawn Lynch was straight up gangsta on Club Shay Shay. Yeah, he was. I get the locker room environment may not be conducive for Russell Wilson's psyche as far as being a Christian. That may be an environment that may vex his spirit. Just being around the cursing, the profanity, just a lot of the nonsense in the locker room, that may just makes him feel some type of way. But this is football. Okay, this is football. I can't tell Russ how to be. I can't tell Russ how to live, but this is football. But once again, he's always told us faith, family, football. He still leads prayer after every game from both sides. Anybody who wants to come and join, meet at the 50, meet at the 50 and do a prayer. When they win, it get televised. When they don't get televised. So that's just what that is. He's a Christian. He's a believer. Everybody knows he's a good man. And so, and I think, and I can say this, and this is a good, and I don't know if Lewis, the professor, going to talk about it, because the name of his show is Faith Radio. It's a Faith Talk Radio. And Lewis is a believer. I'm a believer, and we both know what it means to sit in that seat as a believer and have to navigate a job, being a believer and being around people who are not believers, but yet still have to interact with non-believers in a work setting. And we isolate ourselves from a lot of cantankerous behaviors because we can do so in our jobs, because we can pull away because we're not there for those people, we're there for the jobs. But in a football situation, in a team setting, at some point you're going to have to navigate and try to drive this team effort, even with different types of beliefs out there. And I can say this, being a believer, that Russell Wilson has not done a great job at that. Being a believer and try to navigate people with a winning attitude. But like I say, they may not be his number one thing, because he said it's faith, family, football in that order. So to those who want to know what's going on with Russ can stand up as a man and answer that question for himself. But I can only go what a man has been saying over the years: faith, family, football in that order. It's his God, it's his Sierra and them kids, then it's the Denver Broncos. So it is what it is. Max, you got any final thoughts for the second time?
He's getting a page out of Marshawn Lynch book and not talking to anyone.
Except when it talks to God. Hey, yo, man, this is all we have for the FairWeather Fan Channel podcast, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to apologize right away. The flow, we just wasn't a whole lot to talk about when it came down to the end because this just was a bad week of football for us. But MLB, stand up. Rangers getting ready to play in here in a few more minutes. For those of you in the Dallas area, please go support your Rangers, man. I'll be up here supporting the Rangers as well. And Max, man, thanks for joining us once again. We will be going live once again this Thursday for Thursday Night Football, Kansas City versus the Denver Broncos. Obviously, we already got our picks out. We got Kansas City winning that game, but we'll see. We'll tune in for the halftime show on that to give out our weekly pick'ems. Join us live for the weekly pick'ems. This is your boy C22, and we're out.